It was supposed to be a normal Friday night in the quiet suburbs of Cedar Ridge, Ohio. The Mitchells, a well-to-do couple in their late 30s, were heading out for a rare date night. They left their two children, 6-year-old Ellie and 4-year-old Noah, in the care of their trusted babysitter, 19-year-old Sarah Jennings. Sarah had been babysitting for the Mitchells for almost a year. She was quiet, responsible, and well-liked by both the kids and their parents. A local college student studying early childhood education, Sarah had no criminal record, no warning signs. Nothing about her raised suspicion until that night. Just after 11:30 p.m., police received a frantic 911 call from a neighbor. She reported hearing a woman screaming hysterically next door. When officers arrived at the Mitchells' home, the scene was something out of a nightmare. Sarah was found in the living room, trembling, her clothes drenched in blood. Blood smeared her arms, her face, even her hands. She was holding Ellie's favorite stuffed animal, whispering, "I didn't do it! I didn't do it!" Upstairs, officers found a scene even more horrifying. Noah had been stabbed multiple times and was declared dead on the scene. Ellie, barely conscious, had suffered a deep laceration to her shoulder but was still alive. She was rushed to the hospital. Sarah was immediately arrested. The entire community was in shock. How could the sweet, soft-spoken babysitter they all trusted turn into a murderer? As detectives dug deeper, cracks began to form in the initial assumptions. Sarah maintained her innocence from the start. In her first interview, she told detectives, "I put the kids to bed around 8:30. Everything was normal. I watched TV, then I heard a noise upstairs. When I got there, the door was open. I saw someone, I don't know who. They pushed me down the stairs. But there was no sign of forced entry. No fingerprints besides those of Sarah, the children, and their parents." The knife, a kitchen knife from the Mitchells' own drawer, was found with Sarah's prints on it. The evidence seemed damning. Still, something didn't sit right. Surveillance footage from a neighbor's doorbell camera showed a shadowy figure moving near the Mitchells' back entrance just before 11 p.m. It was too blurry to identify, but enough to reopen the possibility of an intruder. Ellie, once she recovered, told police, "It wasn't Sarah. It was a man. He had a mask." But trauma can distort memory. Was she protecting Sarah? Or was she telling the truth? Just as the prosecution was preparing to move forward with murder charges, a break came from an unexpected place: a pawn shop. A man tried to pawn a child's gold bracelet engraved with the name Noah 5 days after the murder. The shop owner, having seen the case in the news, called it in. The man's name was Tyler Crane, a former handyman who had worked briefly for the Mitchells the year before. Crane had a record: assault, breaking and entering, petty theft. When police brought him in, he denied everything. But when they searched his apartment, they found more of the Mitchells' belongings, including Ellie's tablet and a blood-stained hoodie hidden beneath floorboards. DNA testing confirmed the blood belonged to both children. Crane finally cracked. He admitted to entering through the back door, which Sarah had unknowingly left unlocked when she took out the trash. He had intended to rob the house, not hurt anyone. But when Noah saw him and screamed, Crane panicked. He attacked the boy, then turned on Ellie. Sarah, hearing the commotion, ran upstairs. Crane shoved her down the stairs, grabbed the knife from the kitchen, and fled. In her fall, Sarah hit her head and lost consciousness. When she came to, she saw the children bleeding and tried to help, explaining the blood on her hands. The charges against Sarah were dropped immediately. She was released after spending 21 days in county jail, much of it in solitary confinement for her own protection. The town of Cedar Ridge held a vigil for Noah. Ellie eventually recovered from her wounds but continues to receive trauma counseling. Sarah has since withdrawn from school and moved to another city, struggling with PTSD and the emotional scars of being falsely accused. Tyler Crane was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. In an emotional interview months later, Sarah said, "I still have nightmares, not just about that night, but about the people who looked me in the eyes and thought I was capable of killing a child. And perhaps that's the deepest cut of all. Not just the horror of what happened, but the weight of a town's betrayal before the truth came out. She was covered in blood, but the truth was even darker than anyone imagined.